In the aftermath of Kanye West's shocking leak that had the entire internet buzzing, Teyana Taylor's world has completely turned upside down. What started as whispers on social media quickly spiraled into a full-blown Hollywood storm. And now, Pierre, the man quietly standing beside her, has reached his breaking point. The calm, collected actor who once stayed silent through all the drama has finally exploded. And this time, it's not just about leaked music, broken trust, or creative betrayal. It's personal. Last week's scandal sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. Kanye's private files surfaced. Teyana's name was all over them. And fans began connecting dots that maybe, just maybe, had been pulling strings behind the scenes of her downfall for years. But now things have taken a darker turn. According to close sources, Pierre confronted Kanye directly after the leak. And what went down between those two men left even industry insiders speechless. From secret recordings to cryptic posts and mysterious unfollows, the situation has gone from industry gossip to straight-up chaos. Teyana, once loyal to the man who helped shape her early sound, has reportedly told friends she's done with defending him, done with protecting the image, and done with pretending the damage didn't cut deep. And Aaron? He's not holding back anymore. This isn't just a lover defending his woman. It's a man going head-to-head with one of the most unpredictable figures in music history. Tonight, we're breaking down everything: the confrontation, the fallout, and why Teyana Taylor's final words to Kanye might be the most chilling thing she's ever said. It's over. When the leak first hit the internet, nobody saw it coming. It wasn't one of those typical Kanye controversies, the kind that blows up on social media and fades away after a few days. This one cut deep, and for Teyana Taylor, it wasn't just professional. It was personal. The files that surfaced contained unreleased material, behind-the-scenes footage, and what appeared to be private conversations between Kanye and members of his old creative circle. But the real bombshell? Mentions of Teyana, references to her creative work, notes that hinted Kanye might have deliberately shelved or altered her music without her knowledge. Fans immediately started piecing together what had really been going on behind closed doors. For years, Teyana had hinted that her experience under God Music wasn't as smooth as people thought. She spoke about being underappreciated, misunderstood, and creatively boxed in. But she never named names. She never pointed fingers. She played it cool, stayed classy, and kept moving until now. When the leak surfaced, Teyana went silent. No tweets, no posts, no interviews. Just complete radio silence. And that in itself spoke volumes. Because when a woman who's always carried herself with poise suddenly goes quiet, it's not about confusion, it's about calculation. She was watching, processing, and preparing for the next move. Meanwhile, Pierre, the British actor known for his calm demeanor and quiet strength, was watching everything unfold. He had always admired Teyana's resilience, how she carried herself through storms that would have broken most people. But this time it hit different. He saw the look in her eyes and that mix of pain, betrayal, and disbelief that comes when someone you trusted plays you dirty. According to people close to the situation, Aaron tried to keep Teyana calm in the beginning. He told her not to react online, not to feed into the drama. But as the days went by, the situation worsened. More leaks, more speculation. YouTubers, blogs, and fan pages started spinning wild theories, some even suggesting that Kanye had been holding on to Teyana's work out of spite. Others claimed he'd used her ideas for his own projects, and that's when Aaron snapped. Insiders say Aaron reached out directly to one of Kanye's team members, demanding answers. He wanted to know why Teyana's private creative files were included in the leak. Why her name was being dragged through the mud again, years after she'd peacefully walked away from God Music. The conversation, according to reports, didn't go well. Words were exchanged. Accusations flew. And then came the moment that changed everything. Aaron, who'd always stayed quiet and respectful, allegedly confronted Kanye himself. Now, nobody knows exactly what was said in that conversation. But one source close to Teyana described it as tense, explosive, and raw. Aaron apparently called Kanye out, not as a rapper, not as a mogul, but as a man who'd hurt someone who once looked up to him. He reportedly told Kanye, "You broke something that didn't deserve to be broken." The fallout was instant. Within hours, Kanye's camp began scrubbing posts, tightening security around their social channels, and going completely silent. That's when the internet knew something had gone down, something real. Because for once, Kanye wasn't responding. No cryptic tweets. No Instagram rants, nothing. Just silence. Teyana, on the other hand, started to find her voice again. She posted a single cryptic Instagram story, a black screen with the words, "I'm done protecting people who never protected me." The internet exploded. Fans flooded her comments with support, celebrities reposted her story, and suddenly the narrative shifted. It wasn't about the leak anymore. It was about accountability. For the first time, people were seeing the cracks in the relationship between Kanye and one of his most loyal artists. What had once been seen as creative tension was now being exposed as betrayal. And Pierre? He became an unexpected hero in the story. The man who stood up to one of the most unpredictable figures in music for the woman he loved. But the story doesn't end there. Because behind that one quiet post, behind Aaron's explosion and Kanye's silence, something much bigger was brewing. Rumors of more files, more names, more secrets that could turn this entire scandal into something way deeper than anyone expected. And Teyana? She's just getting started. Pierre wasn't built for drama. He wasn't the type to chase clout, post subliminals, or air out grievances online. But when it came to Teyana Taylor, when it came to her being humiliated, disrespected, and blindsided by a man she once trusted, all bets were off. It started quietly. Late one night, Aaron got a call from someone inside Kanye's circle. Someone who'd seen the chaos online and knew the situation was spiraling. They told Aaron that Kanye was in LA, working out of a private studio, and had been in a mood ever since the leak. Aaron didn't hesitate. He didn't call a publicist or manager. He got in his car and drove straight there. When he arrived, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Security at the studio entrance looked nervous, like they'd been told to keep things calm no matter what happened. But Aaron wasn't there to cause a scene. Not yet. He walked in with that same calm energy he's known for, but his eyes told a different story. You could see the anger boiling beneath the surface, the kind of anger that comes from love and betrayal all mixed into one. Inside, Kanye was pacing, headphones around his neck, half talking to a producer, half rambling to himself. The moment he saw Aaron, the room fell silent. You could feel it, that electric pause before something explosive happens. Aaron didn't waste time. He walked straight up to Kanye and said, "We need to talk." According to someone who witnessed the exchange, Kanye smirked. That trademark yes smirk he gives when he feels untouchable. But Aaron wasn't there for games. He pulled out his phone, showed Kanye the screenshots. Teyana's name in those leaked files, her unreleased material, and the internet tearing her apart because of his negligence. "What is this?" Aaron demanded. "Why is her name even in there?" Kanye reportedly shrugged and said something like, "It's old stuff. I didn't leak it." But Aaron wasn't buying it. He pressed further, his voice rising, his frustration boiling over. "You had her trust, man. She looked up to you. And now her name's out here being dragged through the mud because of you?" Kanye, always one to dominate the room, tried to deflect, talking about creative ownership, about how art gets messy, about how people misinterpret genius. But Aaron wasn't having it. He stepped closer, his tone sharper now. "Genius doesn't mean you get to play God with people's lives." That line hit hard. Witnesses said Kanye's entire energy shifted. The smirk disappeared. He leaned in and fired back, saying Aaron didn't understand the industry, that Teyana knew what she signed up for. And that's when Aaron lost it. He slammed his hand on the mixing board, startling everyone in the room, and said, "No, she signed up to make music, not to be sabotaged." For a few seconds, it looked like things were about to turn physical. Kanye's security stepped forward, ready to intervene. But Aaron didn't flinch. He stood there, staring Ye down, every muscle in his body tensed. And in that silence, Kanye finally looked shaken. Maybe not scared, but confronted in a way he hadn't been in a long time. Then, according to an insider, Aaron said something that froze the entire room. "You break everything you touch. But this time, you broke someone who actually cared about you." With that, he turned around and walked out. No shouting, no threats. Just raw truth left hanging in the air. When word got out about the confrontation, it spread through the industry like wildfire. People started whispering that Pierre had done what no one else dared, stood up to Kanye West face to face. Some insiders even said Kanye canceled his next 2 sessions after that meeting. locking himself in his home studio and refusing to talk to anyone for 48 hours. Meanwhile, Teyana was at home, processing everything. She hadn't asked Aaron to confront Kanye. She didn't even know he was going. But when he came back and told her what happened, she broke down, not out of fear, but relief. For the first time, someone had defended her out loud. Someone had called out the man who had caused so much hidden pain. That night, Teyana made a decision, one that would change everything. She told Aaron, "I'm done being silent. He needs to hear me now." And when Teyana Taylor speaks, the world listens. Because if Aaron Pierre's confrontation shook the room, Teyana's next move was about to shake the entire industry. By the time the sun rose the next morning, the internet was already rumbling with speculation. Whispers of a confrontation between Aaron Pierre and Kanye West were spreading like wildfire across fan pages, gossip blogs, and Reddit threads. But amid all the chaos, one name kept resurfacing: Teyana Taylor. People were waiting, watching, wondering when she'd finally speak. And then, she did. It started subtly. At exactly 9:03 a.m., Teyana dropped a single Instagram post, a black and white photo of herself sitting in front of a broken mirror, her face half hidden behind the shards. The caption read, "The truth always reflects, even when they try to shatter it." No tags, no hashtags, no explanations. Just that one line. Within minutes, the post exploded. Comments poured in, fans flooding her feed with messages of support, celebrities dropping heart emojis and praying hands, and even a few industry figures quietly liking the post. The kind of quiet that speaks louder than words. But for those who'd been following the story, that caption said it all. Teyana wasn't hiding anymore. A few hours later, she went live. No filters, no makeup, no team-approved script. Just Teyana, raw, emotional, and unfiltered. She started slow, her voice calm but firm. "I've been quiet for a long time," she said, "because I wanted to believe people would do right by me." That's what loyalty does. It makes you give people more chances than they deserve. She took a breath, eyes glistening with emotion. But when someone you trusted turns your art, your soul, into their leverage, that's when silence becomes betrayal. The comments section was a blur. Hearts, tears, fire emojis. As Teyana continued, breaking down her side of the story without naming names, yet leaving no doubt who she was talking about. "For years," she said, "I gave my creativity, my vision, my energy to people who told me they had my back. And when I wanted to walk away, peacefully, they made sure I couldn't. They kept my work. They kept my masters. They kept my peace." She paused. The room was silent. Even through the screen, you could feel the weight of every word. "I've never needed to expose anybody," she went on. "But when the truth exposes itself, that's God's timing, not mine." The most emotional moment came when she mentioned Aaron, her voice softening for the first time. "I didn't ask anyone to fight for me. But when somebody you love stands up for you, not because it's trendy, not because it's good PR, but because they see your pain, that hits different." She smiled faintly, wiping away a tear. That man stood up in a room full of power and didn't flinch. That's love. That's loyalty. The livestream peaked at over 300,000 viewers before she ended it with one final line that sent shockwaves through the industry. "I'm done with apologies. I'm done with covering for people who played me dirty. This is the last time I let someone profit off my pain. As far as I'm concerned, it's over." And just like that, she ended the live. No music, no outro, just silence. Within hours, "It's Over" began trending on X, Twitter. Fans started sharing clips from her live, editing them into Reels and TikToks, pairing her words with footage of her performances and past interviews. The public sentiment was clear. Teyana wasn't the villain. She was the survivor. Even artists who'd once worked with Kanye began dropping subtle hints of support. One well-known R&B singer posted, "Protect your art, protect your peace. Nobody's too powerful to be called out. Nobody's too powerful to be called out." Behind the scenes, industry insiders claimed that Kanye's camp was in full-blown damage control mode. His PR team allegedly tried to reach out to Teyana for a private discussion, but sources close to her say she refused. "There's nothing left to discuss," she reportedly told them. That night, Aaron reposted one of Teyana's quotes on his story, the line that read, "Silence becomes betrayal." He added 3 words underneath, "Never again, Queen." The internet went wild. Fans called them the new power couple of truth. Others dubbed the situation the Teyana awakening, while some even speculated that Teyana might be gearing up to drop a new project, one that tells her side, through music. But even as the world celebrated her courage, there was still one question hanging in the air. How would Kanye respond? Because if there's one thing we've learned about him, it's that silence never lasts long. And this time his comeback wouldn't be about music. It would be personal. For nearly a week, Kanye West had remained completely silent. No tweets, no cryptic Instagram posts, not even a quote repost. For a man whose name thrives on noise, that kind of silence was louder than any statement he could have made. But when Kanye finally did speak, it was like a bomb dropped on the internet. It started with a sudden post on his X account, a black background with white text that read, "Don't rewrite history. I made kings and queens, not victims, no names, no hashtags." But everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. The post immediately reignited the fire. Fans were divided. Some defended him, claiming that Kanye was being taken out of context again. Others dragged him, calling his words manipulative, narcissistic, and dismissive of the pain he'd caused. Within an hour, Editor Kanye Responds was trending across every platform. Then came the real twist. Kanye dropped a short video on his Instagram. In it, he was sitting alone in what looked like his home studio, dimly lit, the background cluttered with recording gear and sketches on the walls. He spoke in that familiar calm yet chaotic tone that always left people wondering if he was confessing or provoking. "I gave people opportunities," he said slowly. "I poured my creativity into people who forgot where they got it from. I'm the architect. I built the platform. And now y'all want to act like I'm the villain because I kept what I made?" He paused, looking directly into the camera. "Teyana's talented, no doubt. But let's be real. Without my push, would y'all even be talking about her right now?" That line hit like a slap across the internet's face. Within minutes, major blogs reposted it, captioning it with things like, "Kanye throws shade at Teyana Taylor," and "Kanye claims credit for Teyana's career." It was the arrogance, the audacity, and the timing that made it worse, especially coming right after Teyana's emotional live where she'd finally spoken her truth. But what Kanye didn't expect was the reaction that came next, from Pierre himself. Because while Kanye was busy defending his legacy, Aaron wasn't staying silent this time. Less than an hour after Kanye's video went viral, Aaron posted a statement on his Instagram story that instantly went everywhere. It read, "Legacy doesn't mean ownership. You don't own people's souls, you don't own their stories, and you sure as hell don't get to decide their worth." Boom. That one line set the internet ablaze. Screenshots of Aaron's post flooded timelines. Celebrities reposted it with the caption, "Facts." Even Teyana's fans started using the phrase, "You don't own her story," as a rallying cry online. Meanwhile, Kanye's supporters tried to clap back, defending him as a visionary who was being misunderstood again. But even some of his loyal fans admitted that this time, his words had crossed a line. It wasn't about music anymore, it was about ego. Behind the scenes, sources close to both camps described the atmosphere as toxic. Kanye was reportedly furious that Aaron had spoken out, telling his inner circle, "Who is this dude to talk to me like that?" But insiders said Aaron didn't care. He wasn't clout chasing. He was defending Teyana, period. Meanwhile, Teyana stayed completely silent. No responses. No reposts. No cryptic messages. Just stillness. And that silence, that power, made Kanye's outburst look even worse. Because while he was unraveling publicly, she was regaining control privately. But here's where it got darker. 2 days after Kanye's post, an anonymous account dropped what they claimed were unreleased voice memos, clips allegedly featuring Kanye talking about Teyana during old studio sessions. The recordings weren't verified, but what was heard was enough to fuel a new wave of outrage. In one clip, Kanye allegedly said, "Teyana don't understand direction. She gets emotional. You gotta control her energy." That line, "control her energy," became the internet's new spark. Fans and fellow artists began dissecting it, calling it misogynistic, manipulative, and proof of how women in the industry are often treated. Suddenly, this wasn't just a celebrity feud anymore. It became a cultural conversation. Every entertainment blog, podcast, and news outlet was covering it. From the Shade Room to Billboard, the headlines were everywhere. Kanye versus Teyana, the power struggle no one saw coming. Aaron Pierre stands tall against Ye's empire. Teyana Taylor's silence speaks louder than Kanye's words. And through it all, Teyana said nothing. No reaction. No confirmation. Just silence. The kind that holds weight. Because Teyana knew something Kanye didn't. Sometimes, the best way to win a battle is to let the other person talk themselves into a corner. But what neither of them knew was that the situation was about to take another shocking twist, one that would drag everything into the light. The betrayal, the leaks, and the truth about who really caused the scandal to begin with. Because the next revelation wasn't coming from Teyana. It wasn't coming from Kanye. It was coming from inside his own camp. When you think the drama can't get any deeper, that's when the cracks in the empire start to show. And this time, the blow didn't come from an enemy. It came from inside Kanye's own camp. 2 days after Aaron Pierre's post went viral, a mysterious account appeared on X calling itself The Real Source. No profile picture. No followers. Just one pinned tweet. If y'all want the truth about the leak, ask Ye's people, not Teyana. At first, no one paid attention. The internet's full of trolls pretending to have inside info. But a few hours later, the account started dropping receipts. Screenshots, emails, and time-stamped audio files allegedly showing that the original leak, the one that exposed Teyana's unreleased material, didn't come from a hacker. It came from someone in Kanye's own production team. One of the leaked emails appeared to show a communication between two of Ye's engineers discussing how to restructure the archive folders from old GOOD music sessions. The tone was casual until you read one chilling line. Just remove Teyana's tags before we push the pack. You said don't worry about it. You said don't worry about it. That was all it took. Within minutes, Ye leak gate started trending. The internet went ballistic. Fans began connecting dots. Old rumors, deleted tweets, studio posts. Everything suddenly pointed to one truth. The leak that humiliated Teyana wasn't random. It looked intentional. By nightfall, multiple journalists began confirming that at least some of the documents from the real source were legitimate. Reporters claimed that one of Kanye's former digital archivists, someone who had been quietly fired months before, was now cooperating with media outlets, claiming Ye's inner circle had mishandled dozens of artists' materials. But it got worse. In one of the leaked voice notes, a muffled male voice, and allegedly Kanye's, could be heard saying, "If she wants out, fine, but she ain't taking my work with her. I made her sound. That's mine." Those 8 words set the internet ablaze. I made her sound. Every outlet, from gossip blogs to mainstream entertainment news, jumped on it. Even people who'd never followed Teyana Taylor's career suddenly had an opinion. Was Kanye protecting his art or controlling someone else's legacy? Teyana once again didn't post a single word. But Aaron did. And his timing? Impeccable. He posted a single Instagram story, a photo of Teyana laughing, captioned, "You can't bury the truth when it's already blooming." That post went viral instantly. Fans began calling it poetic justice. Others said it was karma finally catching up to Kanye. Either way, the tide had officially turned. Inside Ye's camp, chaos was breaking loose. Sources claimed that 2 of his team members quit within 24 hours of the leak going public. One even posted a cryptic message. Some of us warned him. He didn't listen. The story had officially gone beyond Teyana and Aaron. It had become a full-blown industry scandal. Artists began quietly unfollowing Kanye. Producers stopped tagging him in posts. And even longtime collaborators stayed silent, afraid to be associated with the fallout. But amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. Instead of celebrating the exposure, Teyana felt numb. According to people close to her, she didn't feel victorious. She felt vindicated, but drained. "This was never about revenge," she reportedly told a friend. "I just wanted peace." Still, her silence spoke volumes. The industry began publicly siding with her. One major R&B star even tweeted, "Teyana been telling y'all." Nobody listened. Another producer added, "Kanye's genius doesn't excuse the games he plays with people's lives." Meanwhile, Kanye's team scrambled to control the narrative. His publicist issued a vague statement denying his involvement. Mr. West has no knowledge of the alleged leaks or mishandling of any artist's material. Any claims suggesting otherwise are completely false, but fans weren't buying it. The receipts were too specific. The timing too perfect. And the real source? They weren't done. In a final post, they uploaded a 30-second clip of a text exchange allegedly between two of Kanye's old associates, dated months before the first leak. One of the messages read, "She's too emotional about her music. Ye says he'll handle it his way." That phrase, "his way," became the most quoted line of the entire scandal. Because now the world was starting to see the pattern. Control, manipulation, silence, all wrapped in the illusion of creative genius. For the first time in years, the public wasn't just questioning Kanye's art, they were questioning his ethics. And while Ye's empire trembled, Teyana's reputation was being rebuilt stronger than ever. The narrative had flipped completely, from angry artist to truth teller, from abandoned protege to the woman who stood up against the machine. But the story wasn't done yet. Because after all the posts, leaks, and statements, one final move remained, a move that would end this war once and for all. Teyana was ready to speak again, not through interviews, not through lives. But through music, weeks passed. The headlines began to fade. The chaos online started to calm, and yet, everyone could feel it. That quiet before the storm. Teyana Taylor had been silent for too long. And when an artist like her goes quiet, you know something powerful is coming. Then, one Friday night at exactly midnight, the storm hit. Without any promotion, without label backing, without a single teaser, Teyana dropped a surprise track on all streaming platforms. The song was called Mirror Ball. The cover art? A cracked disco ball reflecting her face in 1,000 shattered pieces, symbolic, haunting, and beautiful all at once. From the very first note, fans knew this wasn't just a song. It was a statement. The track opened with Teyana's voice, low, smoky and raw, whispering, "You can steal my sound, but not my story." Then the beat dropped, heavy, cinematic, like thunder rolling through a confession booth. Every lyric hit like a dagger, weaving pain and poetry into power. She never said Kanye's name, but she didn't need to. The message was crystal clear. "You said you made me, but you broke me first. Now watch me rebuild without your curse. You kept my wings, but I still flew. I was the muse. Now I'm the truth." Within an hour, Mirror Ball was trending in over 20 countries. Fans flooded X with reactions like, "This is the best revenge ever," and Teyana turned her pain into gold. Even critics who'd been silent during the drama started praising the track as one of her most fearless creations. But what made the moment unforgettable was what came next. Teyana uploaded a music video, raw, stripped down, filmed entirely in black and white. The concept was simple. She faced her reflection, sang her truth, and then shattered the mirror with one swing of a microphone stand. As the glass exploded in slow motion, the final frame appeared with one message: "It's over." That phrase, the same one she said in her live stream weeks earlier, came full circle. The video racked up millions of views within hours. Celebrities reposted it, fans cried in the comments, and the industry collectively bowed its head in respect. Even some of Kanye's old collaborators reposted the video quietly, without captions, as if acknowledging that she'd won. Pierre was right there beside her the entire time. He posted a photo of them backstage at her listening session with a single caption: "She didn't just survive, she created." And that's exactly what Teyana did. She turned the chaos, the betrayal, the leaks, all of it, into art. Into something that couldn't be erased, stolen, or twisted. She reclaimed her story on her own terms. Kanye never responded publicly again. Maybe he realized that this was one battle he couldn't win. Not with fame, not with ego, not with money. Because when an artist reclaims their truth, no one can own them anymore. And for Teyana, this wasn't revenge. It was rebirth. She didn't just say it's over, she showed it. And in doing so, she reminded the entire world of something we all needed to hear. You can silence a voice for a while, but you can't silence a legacy. And that, family, is how Teyana Taylor turned her pain into power. How she stood tall in the middle of chaos and proved that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. What started as another Kanye controversy became a story of truth, courage, and transformation. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Kanye's silence means guilt? Or do you think there's more to the story we haven't seen yet? And what about Teyana's comeback? Did Mirror Ball officially close this chapter, or did it just open a new one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because this story isn't just celebrity gossip, it's a message about ownership, artistry, and self-respect. Sometimes walking away isn't surrender. Sometimes it's the most powerful statement you can make. If you've been rocking with me through this entire breakdown, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications because you already know. We dive deep here. No fluff, no clickbait, just truth, raw energy, and the stories the industry tries to bury. Until next time, keep your energy protected, your circle tight, and your voice louder than their lies. This is Hashim, signing out.